You're in your apartment alone. Then you hear something. You think, was it just the storm? You realize you're not alone. Your living room is not safe with Unhinged, the new immersive game experience brought to you by Netflix. To make it out alive, you must answer the phone. The question is, when your phone rings, will you answer? Tap the banner to play Unhinged now, only on Netflix.
This is going to be an extremely busy month. I have to watch 104 soccer games, follow the pregame, the postgame, yell useless opinions at the TV. It's a lot. So I knew that when it comes to screening for colon cancer, the choice was clear. The Cologuard Plus test. It can be used at home and can only take 15 minutes, so I can do it during halftime and not miss any action. If you are 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a prescription at Cologuard.com.
Imagine a dog so focused that it can move a flock of sheep without barking, without touching them, and sometimes without even moving. All it has to do is stare. Shepherds call it the eye. It is a look so intense that generations of sheep have learned it means business. To the untrained observer, it almost seems like magic. Can you guess what breed of dog I am describing? If you guessed the Border Collie, you are correct. This remarkable breed has spent centuries racing across windswept hills, navigating rocky pastures, and partnering with shepherds in one of the oldest occupations in human history. Along the way, it became one of the smartest dogs the world has ever known. But where did the Border Collie come from? How did a working farm dog become a scientific marvel, a Hollywood star, and even the standard bearer of intelligence against which all other canines are measured? Today we'll return to the rugged borderlands between England and Scotland to discover the history of one of the hardest working dogs ever bred. Hello and welcome to Doggone History, a lighthearted history of dogs, one breed at a time. I'm your host, Rich Napolitano. Border Collie is one of those breed names that sounds straightforward until you begin digging into it. The border part is generally accepted to refer to the border country between England and Scotland. It is a landscape of rolling hills, rocky highlands, narrow valleys, and endless sheep pastures. It is also where the breed developed into the dog we recognize today. The second half of the name is a little more mysterious. Author Iris Combe suggested that in Old Gaelic, the word collie simply referred to something useful. Under that interpretation, a collie dog was quite literally a useful dog. Given how indispensable these animals were to shepherds, that explanation certainly fits. Another theory traces the word to collie with an EY at the end, an Anglo-Saxon term describing the color black. Since many early working dogs had black coats or black markings, that possibility has remained popular as well. For centuries, these dogs weren't considered a standardized breed in the modern sense. Shepherds weren't concerned with appearances or pedigree papers. They wanted dogs that could handle sheep across difficult country from sunrise to sunset. The name Border Collie itself wasn't formally adopted until 1915. James Reed, the secretary of the International Sheepdog Society, needed a way to distinguish these exceptional working dogs from the collies already recognized by the Kennel Club. The working sheepdogs had been bred with completely different priorities. Their ability mattered far more than how closely they matched a written appearance standard. That distinction remains important even today. Many Border Collie enthusiasts still believe the breed should always be judged first by what it can do, rather than how it looks. Like many ancient dog breeds, the Border Collie's family tree stretches back far beyond any official records. To understand its origins, we have to travel almost 2,000 years into Britain's past. When the Romans invaded Britain in AD 43, they didn't arrive alone. They brought livestock, equipment, soldiers, and dogs. Among those dogs were powerful livestock guardians used to protect valuable animals during long military campaigns. Some historians believe these Roman dogs became the foundation for Britain's earliest working sheepdogs. Several centuries later, another wave of newcomers reached Britain's shores, the Norsemen, or the Vikings. Between the 8th and 9th centuries, Norse settlers brought lighter, faster, Spitz-type herding dogs that excelled at moving livestock across rough terrain. Over generations, these dogs mixed with Britain's existing working dogs, gradually producing animals that were more agile, more responsive, and better suited to herding than guarding. One of the earliest written descriptions of these remarkable dogs appears in a book published in English in 1576. The author described sheepdogs that responded to spoken commands and whistles while gathering livestock over considerable distances. This description feels surprisingly modern. Anyone who has watched today's Border Collies working hundreds of yards away from their handler would recognize the same partnership between shepherd and dog. As farming evolved, these early sheepdogs continued evolving too. They were occasionally crossed with other hard-working breeds, including bearded collies, setters, pointers, and even sighthounds. Each cross contributed desirable qualities such as endurance, speed, athleticism, or intelligence. Unlike many breeds that were shaped inside aristocratic kennels, the Border Collie was molded by ordinary shepherds making practical decisions. Every breeding choice answered one simple question: will this dog help me manage my flock better than the last one? And that practical approach would shape the breed for centuries. The border region between England and Scotland is a place of rolling hills, rocky slopes, deep valleys, and open moorland. It is a beautiful but unforgiving landscape. Shepherds often spent their entire day outdoors in every kind of weather, and their dogs worked right alongside them. South of the border, the English lowlands offered gentler terrain, which different breeds of sheep could graze on broader pastures. Farther north, the Scottish Highlands presented a completely different challenge. Sheep wandered across steep hillsides, rugged mountains, and isolated glens, where a shepherd might spend hours gathering scattered flocks. Those conditions demanded a different kind of dog. A successful sheepdog needed strength, endurance, agility, and the ability to think independently while remaining completely responsive to its handler. On a busy day, a working Border Collie might travel 50 miles or more while gathering sheep spread across enormous grazing areas. Their coloring could even make a difference. Dogs expected to work after sunset often needed coats that allowed shepherds to spot them against dark hillsides. A dog that disappeared into the night wasn't much help, no matter how talented it might be. Perhaps the most important quality was judgment. Since shepherds couldn't stand beside their dogs at every moment, the Border Collie had to solve problems on its own. These dogs learned to understand the movement of sheep, anticipate what frightened livestock might do next, know when to react and when to back away. Border Collies were, in fact, trusted and valuable coworkers. The Border Collie story is also a significant part of Britain's agricultural history. For centuries, sheep provided wool that fueled one of the country's most important industries. Successful farming depended on managing increasingly large flocks across difficult landscapes. As sheep farming expanded, so did the need for exceptional working dogs, and the Border Collie answered that need better than any breed before. Every great breed has a defining dog, and for the Border Collie, it was a dog named Old Hemp. He was born in September 1893 in Northumberland, England. His owner and breeder was Adam Telfer, a respected shepherd who had carefully selected Hemp's parents. His sire, Roy, was a black and tan working dog known for his reliability. His dam, Meg, possessed an especially powerful version of the famous Border Collie stare that shepherds call the eye. Old Hemp inherited the best qualities of both and displayed an unusual working style. He remained calm, rarely barked, and didn't rush at livestock directly. Instead, he worked quietly and approached the animals with a calm confidence. Most often, Old Hemp could control a herd of sheep using only his posture and otherworldly, mesmerizing gaze. Shepherds who watched him work immediately recognized they were seeing something special. Soon, shepherds from across Britain wanted puppies descended from Old Hemp. He would eventually sire more than 200 puppies, an extraordinary number for the time. His influence spread through nearly every respected working bloodline. Today, every purebred Border Collie can trace part of its ancestry back to him, making Old Hemp one of the most influential dogs in canine history. His descendants still display many of the qualities that made him famous more than a century ago. The International Sheepdog Society's stud book contains well over 300,000 registered dogs. Old Hemp holds the entry of number 9.
The ultimate cookout starts with the ultimate ingredients. At Whole Foods Market, no antibiotics ever burgers and kebabs are prepped and ready to throw on the grill. Fire up a juicy ribeye. Grab creamy potato salad and savory flatbreads from the prepared foods department and round it all out with 365 brand condiments, chips, and dips at everyday low prices. Whole Foods Market. Make your summer sizzle.
As Border Collies became more skilled, shepherds naturally wanted to see whose dogs were the best. That competitive spirit gave birth to sheepdog trials. The first organized and officially recorded sheepdog trial took place in Bala, Wales in 1873. Spectators watched in amazement as the remarkable dogs worked hundreds of yards from their handlers. Instead, handlers guided their dogs with whistles, hand signals, and occasional voice commands. The dogs responded almost instantly, gathering scattering sheep and maneuvering them through gates, around obstacles, and into a pen with precision. 33 years later, in 1906, English and Scottish sheepmen met in East Lothian and established the International Sheepdog Society. Its purpose was to protect working standards, maintain pedigrees, and promote the breeding of exceptional sheepdogs. Unlike traditional kennel clubs, appearance was never the organization's primary concern. A Border Collie can have uneven markings, mismatched ears, or a coat that would never win a beauty competition. But if it could gather stubborn sheep over difficult country, it had value, and that philosophy still guides many working breeders today. Competitive sheepdog trials remain enormously popular throughout the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, North America, and many other parts of the world. If you've never watched one, it's worth seeking out. You'll quickly gain an appreciation for just how extraordinary these dogs are. For most of their history, Border Collies were known only to shepherds and farmers, but that began to change during the reign of Queen Victoria. The Queen first encountered working collies while staying at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. She quickly became enamored with the intelligence and loyalty of these remarkable dogs. Although the collies she owned were not always what we would recognize today as Border Collies, her enthusiasm helped shine a spotlight on the working dogs of the Scottish countryside. As often happened during the Victorian era, anything that caught the Queen's attention soon became fashionable. Collies began appearing in homes far removed from sheep pastures. Wealthy families admired their beauty and intelligence, while artists frequently included them in paintings that celebrated rural life. Despite their growing popularity, the dogs that would become Border Collies remained primarily working animals. The Border Collie also found an admirer in one of Scotland's greatest poets, Robert Burns, who owned a beloved dog named Luath. When Luath died, Burns was devastated. His affection for his companion inspired the poem The Twa Dogs, one of his best-known works. In the poem, Burns imagines the two dogs discussing the lives of rich and poor people while celebrating the bond between humans and their canine companions. By the late 19th century, sheep ranching was expanding around the world. Countries with vast grazing lands needed capable herding dogs, and word of the remarkable Border Collie had spread beyond Great Britain. Beginning in the 1880s and 1890s, outstanding working dogs were exported to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the United States, Argentina, and other countries where sheep farming played an important role in the economy. Wherever sheep went, Border Collies often followed. American ranchers quickly appreciated what shepherds in Great Britain had known for generations. One talented Border Collie could do the work of several people. Recognition by the American Kennel Club, however, would take much longer. The Border Collie wasn't entered into the AKC's miscellaneous class until 1955, and full recognition did not arrive until 1995. That 40-year gap was caused by a genuine disagreement within the Border Collie community itself. Many Border Collie owners feared that official recognition would encourage breeders to focus on appearance rather than working ability. They had watched other breeds split into separate show and working lines and didn't want the same thing happening to the Border Collie. Even today, many breeders continue to prioritize instinct, intelligence, and livestock handling over cosmetic features. For them, a Border Collie should always be judged by what it accomplishes in the field. But the Border Collie's physical characteristics are indeed extraordinary. They are medium-sized dogs built for endurance rather than brute strength. Males generally stand to about 22 inches and weigh as much as 45 pounds. Females are slightly smaller, reaching about 21 inches and weighing up to 42 pounds. Their coats come in two basic varieties. Some have a rough coat with longer, feathered fur measuring around 3 inches, while others have a smooth coat that lies much closer to the body. While black and white is the classic Border Collie look, the breed comes in an impressive range of colors, including red and white, tricolor, black and gray, and even solid black. But perhaps its most striking characteristic are its eyes. If you've ever watched a Border Collie work sheep, you probably noticed it. The dog lowers its body, drops its head, and fires its gaze while it locks on the flock. For reasons we really don't understand, the sheep respond almost instinctively. Some animal behavior experts believe the fixed stare mimics the hunting posture of predators, convincing sheep to move away from the pressure. Others suggest generations of selective breeding simply refined a behavior that livestock learned to respect. Then there's the intelligence. The AKC describes the Border Collie as extremely intelligent, and that may actually be an understatement. The breed consistently ranks at or near the top in studies of canine learning and problem solving. Border Collies currently hold several Guinness World Records, including records for canine athletic performance, that showcase both their speed and precision. Of course, intelligence comes with responsibility. A Border Collie whose mind isn't challenged will usually find something to do. Unfortunately, you may not always appreciate its choice. Some begin herding bicycle riders. Others may stalk joggers. Children running across a yard may suddenly discover they're being gently rounded up like sheep. Some Border Collies become fascinated with moving shadows or reflections, spending hours chasing them if left unstimulated. This isn't bad behavior, but centuries of instinct looking for an outlet. Border Collies are also remarkably perceptive and seem to know exactly how their people are feeling. They pay close attention to body language, tone of voice, and daily routines. That sensitivity helps explain why harsh training methods rarely work well with the breed. They respond far better to positive guidance and meaningful work. If your ideal Saturday involves sleeping late, ordering pizza, and watching an entire season of your favorite TV show without leaving the couch, the Border Collie is probably not a good match for you. Without mental stimulation, many Border Collies invent their own entertainment, which can lead to destructive or unwanted behavior. They need room to run, plenty of exercise, and a stimulating environment to keep these active and intelligent dogs happy and stable. They are fantastic family dogs, but not a breed to be left on autopilot. They will reward informed and responsible owners with extraordinary companionship. In other words, your Border Collie will have its own schedule, but would sincerely appreciate it if you joined in. Their intelligence, trainability, and expressive faces have made them favorites among animal trainers in film and television for decades. Perhaps no movie showcased their natural talents better than the 1995 family classic, Babe. The story follows an orphaned pig who dreams of becoming a sheepdog. While Babe may have been the star, the Border Collies surrounding him were the real professionals. They demonstrated authentic herding behaviors throughout the film, giving audiences around the world a glimpse of what these remarkable dogs can do. Border Collies have also appeared in films including Animal Farm, Snow Dogs, and A Dog Year. Television viewers may remember Murray from the hit sitcom Mad About You. Murray was played by a Border Collie named Maui, whose personality became one of the show's most beloved running jokes. In the UK, generations of children grew up watching Blue Peter, where a Border Collie named Shep became one of the program's most popular canine stars. Actors James Dean, Ethan Hawke, Anna Paquin, and James Franco have all owned Border Collies, as well as musician John Bon Jovi and professional golfer Tiger Woods. Apparently, even celebrities appreciate having someone around who's smarter than most of the people in the room.
And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the match day spread. He's reaching for the buffalo wing. Perfect! Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! Incredible! What a finish! Sensational combination! Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
Every so often, an individual animal changes the way scientists think about intelligence. For Border Collies, that dog was named Chaser. She was born in 2004 and came home to Dr. John W. Pilley, a retired psychology professor at Wofford College in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Pilley had spent years studying how dogs learn language. Earlier research suggested dogs could associate words with rewards, but they didn't truly understand that words referred to individual objects. Then Pilley watched Border Collies competing in sheepdog trials and noticed something remarkable. The dogs weren't simply obeying commands, but appeared to analyze situations, solve problems, and make decisions without constant direction. This led Pilley to ask, could a Border Collie learn language in a way no dog had demonstrated before? From the time Chaser was just 8 weeks old, Pilley began a carefully structured daily training program. Every toy had a unique name, and every lesson built on previous ones. Pilley led thousands of short training sessions with Chaser over the course of several years, and the results stunned the scientific community. Chaser learned the names of 1,022 individual toys and could retrieve the correct object from among hundreds of others with remarkable accuracy. She also demonstrated an understanding of categories and simple reasoning that many researchers had not expected to see in a dog. Before Chaser, the record belonged to another Border Collie named Rico, who had learned approximately 200 words. But Chaser didn't just break the record, she redefined it. Her accomplishments were documented in scientific journals and introduced millions of people to the remarkable cognitive abilities of Border Collies. Chaser passed away in July 2019 at the age of 15, but her influence continued. In 2021, Spartanburg Community College named Chaser its first official mascot, ensuring that her legacy would continue inspiring future generations. The Border Collie remains one of the most respected working breeds in the world. Although it isn't among the American Kennel Club's 10 most popular breeds, it consistently ranks within the organization's top 50 registered dogs. That popularity reflects something unique. Most people who choose a Border Collie aren't looking for a decorative pet, they're looking for a partner. Thanks to their intelligence and eagerness to learn, Border Collies now perform jobs their ancestors could never have imagined. Many serve alongside police departments, locating missing people or detecting narcotics and explosives. Others participate in search and rescue missions following natural disasters. Some become guide dogs or service dogs, helping people navigate daily life with greater independence, while others dominate agility competitions, obedience trials, flyball tournaments, dock diving events, and naturally, sheepdog trials. Perhaps my favorite job of a Border Collie is done by a dog named Bee. She works for the University of North Florida, and her job? Keeping Canadian geese from taking over the campus. Rather than harming the birds, Bee simply encourages them to relocate by doing what Border Collies have always done best. She controls their movement. Students were quick to give Bee the unofficial but unforgettable title of Goose Master. The history of the Border Collie is, in many ways, the history of partnership. Centuries of working with shepherds has produced one of the most capable working dogs the world has ever known. Given the opportunity, it becomes less of a pet and more of a teammate. That's a rare quality, and one that has earned the Border Collie the respect of shepherds, trainers, scientists, and dog lovers for well over a century. If you are considering owning a Border Collie or adding any pet to your home, please contact your local SPCA, Humane Society, rescue organization, or other animal shelter, as there are millions of cats and dogs waiting to find their forever homes. And please, have your pets spayed or neutered to help control the homeless animal population. Now it's time to find out what dog will be featured next on Doggone History. Randomizer is activated. It's the Golden Retriever. Doggone History is written, edited, and produced by me, Rich Napolitano. Original theme music is also by me. Please remember to rate and review Doggone History in your favorite podcast app. I sure would appreciate a 5-star review. Thank you so much. Please join me again next time. But until then, say hi to your dog for me, won't you?